Okay, so I was in California. I partly attended a white church initially when I just got there. Then, when I graduated from nursing school, I attended an African American church, and it's totally different, totally different. And then, I went to Colorado, and I watched and I attended a white church. And but now I do attend a Nigerian, I say part of Nigerian church, but my church is mostly young people, young couple who just started who have young kids. But most some of them are born here or came here when they were like 5 years old or 2 years old. So it's technical. It's more of we're more Nigerians, which that more of us were born in Nigeria, or some of us came. Our parents are Nigerians. So it's like a white church. It's like an American church, right?
Yeah.
So I've been to all of them, and they are different. The only thing I can say is that the only difference I can say, and they worship God differently.
Yeah.
And the only thing I can say is that in Nigeria we do have a community, and I know that sometimes not it has its own weakness.
Yeah.
But sense of community, you cannot find it anywhere else.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You can't find it anywhere else because we value relationships. I'm not saying that the white people and therefore do not value relationship, but there's relationship in that. Just like even your brothers and sisters, you have your own disagreement, and that's how life is. But the other thing that I've noticed is community. Is community. Relationship. You build relationship, and you can go visit each other. Nobody's gonna say, "Don't come to my house," blah blah. But in other churches that I've been to, it's not like that. Even though everybody has been nice to me, and we have built some kind of relationship there, but it's not like I keep in touch with all of them. Some of them you don't keep in touch with anybody anymore. But if you go to a Nigerian church, you make lifelong relationship, and even though you don't go to that church, it's I mean that's one thing I know, that it's Nigeria is like we value relationship. So that's
I agree with you. I agree with you. I mean, in my church in Houston, we do have we'll call it Africans in Lakewood, right? So we do have some kind of community amongst the Africans. We try to work out, being and the church works that out. The church agrees with that, knowing the uniqueness, of where we come from, So yeah, I mean, we're all different. It's all based on our background, and we need to respect that, I mean, every culture has its own plus and minuses. We don't you don't want to leave you don't want to leave one and just go to the other, because none is perfect, right? I mean, our Igbo people keep to time, they are disciplined, but from a community standpoint, we might not get as much as we would get on our side. So a perfect world is being able to get the pluses from there without leaving the pluses from where we're coming from, I mean, some people get lost when they travel abroad. Like, I was just sharing about someone close to us, who is pretty lost, in the US, because expecting the mother to do some crazy things, which she would never do if she was in Nigeria, It's more like treating the mom like a normal white would treat their parents. And that's a taboo, where we come from, So, and it has its repercussion, because at the end of the day, you still come from somewhere. And someday, somehow, you'll go back there, So it's good to be able to get a right balance, Alrighty, I'm going to move on. So the last one here says, how have you been shaped and refined as a communicator by the presence of pain? Anybody's been shaped by the pain that they've had in their lives? I'll give you my own example. As your life experience shaped the way you talk? Anyone's going to take a bite at that, or we'll move on.
Well, I think that we're all changed all the time. I mean, it's a lifelong process, a lifelong uh I mean, you have to be willing to change. You have to be willing
Absolutely.
to adapt, like, right? Because change is
Mm-hmm.
constant, right? When you feel
Yes.
like, okay, I cannot change, then you're not going to grow. So
Absolutely.
especially with especially coming to the United States, or when you anyone that travels outside the country of
Yeah.
Nigeria, and yeah, you are hit right away by the culture. That this
Yes.
and I mean, I used to have a very low self-esteem in Nigeria. I mean,
Yeah.
nobody told me I was good. Your teacher told you, oh, go to art, go do art, so you can do.
Yeah.
There's no one that tells you, oh, you how good you are. Even your parents, even though
Yeah.
I mean, they believe in you, but they're not trained in the way where they say, oh,
To
you can
communicate
do,
it. Yeah.
yeah, you can communicate it and say, oh, you can go, you are good. So I grew up with a very low self-esteem about
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
When I came out here, my uncle's wife is African American, and she would take me out, right? She take me to say, oh, say hi to them, say hi. So right now I'm changed. I never used to want to talk. I had low self-esteem, but now I'm different. I can go somewhere. I can communicate with somebody because she pulled it out of me. She's like, no,
Yeah.
you have to say hi. You have to
Yeah.
come. You have to tell. You have to communicate back.
Yeah.
And so you be having an accent initially is a culture shock. It's a culture
Yeah.
shock because so you have to learn. You have to learn to say,
Absolutely.
you are different, yes, but I have to learn how to slow down because I speak fast. I have to learn
Yeah.
how to change the way that I pronounce some things, and
Yeah.
and it takes time. It takes time.
Yeah.
You being in the midst of people that don't
Yeah.
really technically look like you. It takes time
Yeah.
for you to get there. So I
Yeah.
feel like I've changed compared to what 20 years
Absolutely.
ago when I first came out here. So I'm different. I'm different. So
Absolutely.
I believe that I have changed. Yeah, my communication has improved.
Absolutely. And that's why you're coming to a place of rest. It's not as if you don't have the whole challenges you used to have. You have new challenges, no doubt, which is part of being human. The day you stop having challenges, it means that you're about to die, right? That you're going to have challenges, but it should not be necessarily be the old ones, because as you overcome the old ones, you have new ones, new heights, new devils, new challenges, and that's what God wants for us. God wants us to grow and become better, right? But not having to recycle the same year all over again, right? So great, yeah, yeah, I do agree with you. And a lot of us, it's a cultural thing, where we come from a place of low self-esteem, not because we come from a place where parents were used to abusing their children and saying that it will not be better for you, but that's not what they meant, right? But it's just what they learned. It's their language. They don't understand that it's a cause, or they understand the repercussion of that, but it's like a way of speaking, right? They're saying what they don't really want. Unfortunately, the child becomes that thing. And you wonder who did this to me? Is it the people in the village? No, you did it to yourself, right? But that's culture. That's the environment we grew up in. And we are learning to do better than what they do, you know. So yeah, that's part of change. I know people whose lives are marred, you know, they could be better than what they are, but they're marred by those words, those pain scars of growing up. Not everybody outgrows it, because it takes a whole lot to rising up to life to do it. Not everybody does. And that's why you have some people that have mental sickness, because if you don't, you will tend to affect your mentality,